Good morning, 7th standard. The next topic that we are going to do in chapter number 2 is multiplication of decimal numbers. Now, multiplication of decimal numbers can be done in 3 ways. These are not the methods but the types of questions. Multiplication of decimals can be asked in 3 ways. Let's write down. The first is when a decimal number is multiplied by a whole number. So multiplication of a decimal number with a whole number. So that would mean that one number is with a point and the other number is without a point. Then second, we have multiplication of a decimal number with a decimal number. In this case, both numbers have points, the first number as well as the second number. And then finally, we have multiplication of a decimal number with 10, 100, 1000, etc. Numbers like these, in which the multiplication can be done orally. If you have a normal number to multiply with 10, you know 2 into 10 is 20, 3 into 10 is 30. And if you have to multiply the number with 100, 5 into 100, 7 into 100, 500, 700, yes. Same way, decimals can be also multiplied with these numbers orally or by some calculation. Let us look at the ways in which we can do these. I'll be taking a few examples to explain how you will be doing these questions in the exercise. Now let us take a few examples. First one, I've got 2.7 multiplied by 4. Now this is a decimal number and this is a whole number. If you want, you can write down for yourself. This is a decimal number and we are multiplying it with whole number. So there are two methods to do this. One is you can multiply directly. Multiply directly means you will write 2.7 multiplied by 4, the way you multiply your numbers normally, and then obtain the answer. This is 28 to carried over, 8 plus 2 is 10, and this is your answer. The point is written directly below the point. The point will be marked directly below. Now this is first method for this, where you just multiply the numbers directly. The second way is you change your decimal number into a fraction and then multiply. So 2.7 multiplied by 4, this can be written as, removing the point, this becomes 27 by 10, and this is 4 over 1. Now I know how to multiply my fractions. The only thing is I will not be doing any simplification. I do not want to change this 10. I just keep it as it is. I will not change it. Although I want to, but I will not. The reason is, if you keep 10 as such, later on you can use this 10 to introduce the point back. Let us see how that will happen. Multiply your numerators, 27 into 4. In the denominators you will have 10 into 1. So 27 into 4 is 108. In the denominator you have 10. Now you can put the point back using this 10. So that's why I did not cancel. 10, count one digit from the end and then put the point. So this is your answer, same as this one. You can do any method. Let's take one more example. Suppose we have to multiply 11 with 1.35. Again, this is a number with point, this is without point. I can use any of the two methods. Let's do it with both methods. First, I will multiply these directly. So writing the number with more digits on top, 135, it has 3 digits. So I'm writing this on top, 11 below it, and then multiply. Multiply the way you normally multiply with 2-digit number. So 1 by 1. First with this one. So this is what I get. And then putting across, moving to the next row. So now I multiply with this one. Again I will have the same answer. And now I adding the two rows. So this is what I get. Now the time is to put the point back. The point will be put directly below the point. So the point was here. There were 2 digits on its right side. So point will be right here. 2 digits on the right. 14.85. Let us do this with the second method. So 11 can be written as 11 over 1. Changing the decimal number into a fraction. This will be 135 over 100. Multiplying the numerators, 11 into 135. In the denominator it is 1 and 100. So the numerator gives me 1485 over 100. Again, I'm not cancelling. I did not cancel with 5. I don't want to change this 100. I will keep it as it is. Now it's time to put the point back. 2 zeros, count 2 digits from the end and put the point. And the answer is same. So this is how we multiply a decimal number and a whole number. One number with point and the other number, the second number, is without a point. You can either multiply directly or you can multiply by changing the numbers to fractions. Now we are going to learn how to multiply two decimal numbers. Again, let's take an example. This is the third example. Now I'm going to take both numbers as decimal numbers. So let us say I have got 1.5 multiplied with 1.1. Both numbers have points. Again, this can be done in two ways. One is multiplication directly and the second one is by changing these two fractions. Let's do this. The first method is multiplying them directly, but when both numbers are having points, I will not use the point during multiplication. I will only use the number. So I have 15 multiplied by 11. So you can write for yourself, do not use point during multiplication. Multiply normally. So what do I get? This is 1 multiplied by 5, 5, 1 into 1 is 1, cross, then the next digit, 5 into 1 is 1, 5 into 1 is 5, 1 into 1 is 1, adding 5, 6 and 1. So this is the answer. Now this is the answer for the multiplication. Now I have to put my point back. You will introduce the point in answer. To introduce the point, what we want to know is how many decimal places were there in the question, the numbers which were to be multiplied. So the numbers which I multiplied are 1.5 and 1.1. In this case, after the point there was one digit, and in this case also after the point there was one digit. So one digit, or I would say one decimal place, this is one digit. So total is 2 digits after point. So this is what I will do in my answer. In my answer, I want to make sure that after the point there are 2 digits or 2 decimal places. So counting 2 digits from here, from the end, 1, 2, and the point will be placed right here between 1 and 6. So the answer comes out to be 1.65. Now let us see how do we do it by changing the numbers into fractions. This is your second method. Now I will write these as fractions. 1.5 multiplied by 1.1. Let's change these two fractions. This will be 15 over 10. This will be 11 over 10. Multiply the numerators. Multiply the denominators. So 15 into 11 is 165. In the denominator, 10 tens are 100. Now you can use this 100 to put the point. 165, two zeros. So 2 places from the right side and the point will be here. The answer is same. Let's do one more example to see how this is done. Another example to do the same type. A decimal number multiplied with a decimal number. So we have 7.1 multiplied by 2.05. Decimal number, both number have points. Now I'll be doing this with both methods. The first method where I multiply directly and the second one where I use fractions. So if I'm doing with first method, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to multiply these but without points. So 205 multiplied by 71. Multiplying with 1 first, cross in the next line, multiplying with 7 now, 3 carried over, so 3 will be here. This will be 14,555. Now when I write my answer, I will put the point back. And to put the point back, I go to my question. From the question, identify how many decimal places were there. So here I have got 1 decimal place. This is 1 decimal place. And here I have got 2 decimal places. So total 3 decimal places. So let's use this here. In answer, I need to put the point counting 3 digits from the right side, from the end. So from the end, count 3 digits and put the point 1, 2, 3. The point will be here after 14. This is my answer. And you don't have to write this. This is something you can do in your mind. But I have written so that you remember. Now let us do the same question using fractions, means with second method. So what I have to do is I have to write both numbers as fractions, 7.1 and 2.05. So this will be 71 over 10 into 205 over 100. No cutting, because I don't want to change this 10 and this 100. They are very helpful. So 71 into 205 in the numerator, 10 into 100 in the denominator. From the numerator, when you multiply, you can use your working column for the multiplication and obtain the answer. The answer obtained is 1,4,555. In the denominator, you get 1,000. Now you can put the point back. 1,000 has 3 zeros. So to put the point back, I have to count 3 digits from the right, and the point will be after 40. See, you get the same answer whichever method you use. And this is how we multiply a decimal number with a decimal number. Either you can multiply them directly, but point is not used during the multiplication. Point is put in the answer after counting the decimal places. The second is by converting these decimals into fractions. Now we are going to see how we multiply a decimal number with 10, 100 or 1000. Example number 5. Let us say we have to multiply 1.76 into 10. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine this without the point. So imagine this as 176 into 10. So the answer for this will be 1760. Now I will put the point back. Multiply the numbers without the point, because multiplication with 10, 100, 1000 can be done orally. So 176 multiplied by 10. If you want, just ignore this point here, ignoring the point from here. So 176 into 10 will be 176 with a 0. Now count the decimal places and put the point back. There were 2 decimal places, so we are not writing this. This is only to be done in mind. So don't write this, just do it in your mind. So this will be 1760, and now put your point back 2 decimal places. So put the point back from here, counting 2 digits. So point will be here. And now we also know one thing, that in equivalent decimals, the point from the end can be removed. So this can further be written as 17.6. The 0 from the end can be removed. This is first method. Second method is the shortcut. This is first method, and now the second method. Although first method is also like a shortcut because we multiply in our mind, we do not multiply it in working column. Second method is a direct method. If you remember, you have come across this rule. So it looks like I've written Mr. DL, Mr. Deepak Lal, but it's not Mr. Deepak Lal. It's multiply right and this is division left. So this simply tells you where would the point go. In multiplication, the point goes to the right side. In division, the point goes to the left side. So this is the shortcut that we are going to use here. So if you have 1.76 multiplied with 10, in multiplication, point goes to right. So the point from here will go to right side. And where would it go? It will move as many places as the number of zeros. If we are multiplying with 10, 10 has 1 0, point will move 1 place. If it was 100, the point will move 2 places. If it was 1000, it would move 3 places. So right now I have 10. The point will move 1 place. The point will move 1 place to the right side, and from here now it will appear between 7 and 6. So this will be 17.6. Let's take one more example. Example number 6. Same number 1.76 multiplied by 100. Now if I was using method 1, I would multiply them in my mind. Multiply these without the point. So if there was no point, if this point was not here, 176 into 100. So any number multiplied with 100, the answer will be same number with 2 zeros at the end. So this will be 176 double zeros at the end. When we multiplied with 10, there was 1 0. When I multiplied with 100, now there are 2 zeros. Now it's time to put the point back. To put the point back, I will count the decimal places. So I've got 2 decimal places. So I will put the point after 2 digits. The point will be here. Zeros after the point can be ignored, so this becomes 176. And if I was using the second method means my shortcut. I only move the point. So second method is 1.76 multiplied by 100. So now I have 2 zeros here. So using this rule, multiplication right, the point will go to the right side depending on by which number I am multiplying. I am multiplying with 100. It has 2 zeros. Point moves right by 2 places. So 2 places means from here it will go here. This means I get the point here. And when the point reaches at the end, you can ignore it. So every time the point moves and reaches the end, just delete it. So your answer is 176. Let's take one more example only for this part. Example number 7th. We have 56.3 multiplied with 1000. Now let us do it with first method. My first method tells me to multiply orally in my mind. So this is 563 if the point was ignored. If I remove this point, this is 563. 563 multiplied with 1000. So the answer will be 563 with these 3 zeros. Now putting the point back. To put the point back, I count the decimal places. 1 decimal place. So from here, the point will be right here. And the 0 after the point can be ignored. This will be 56300. The portion after the point 0. Point 0 means point nothing. This can be ignored. So my answer is 56,300. Now let us do the same method question. Let us do the same part with second method. So if I were to do this with second method, 56.3 multiplied with 1000, I have to move my point 3 places. Multiply right, move the point 3 places because I am multiplying with 1000. So now if I have to move this point to the right, I have only 1 digit. I have to move the point by 3 places. I have 1 place over here. So what I will do is I will put 2 extra zeros. Now the point can move 1, 2, 3 places. So this becomes 56,300. The point disappears from here and goes after 0. And when the point reaches the end, this can be ignored. So this is 56,300. If you are having problem with these methods, I can suggest that you can always use second method, which we discussed in the previous types for these questions. Means you can also multiply these using fractions. So write a note. You can always multiply by changing decimal numbers into fractions. And we have practiced so many questions where we learned how to multiply fractions. Now let us see if I had to multiply with 10, 100 and 1000 using fractions, how would I do? I have 176 multiplied with 10, 176 multiplied with 100, 56.3 multiplied with 1000. Now I'm going to do these questions using fractions. So how would I do it? This can be written as 176 over 100. This can be written as 10 over 1. 1 0 get cancelled. 176 into 1 in the numerator, 10 into 1 in the denominator. So this comes out to be 17.6. Let's multiply these. This can be written as 176 over 100. 100 can be written as 100 over 1. Both zeros get cancelled. So 176 into 1 in the denominator, 1 into 1. This will be 176 over 1, which is 176. And now let us multiply this. 56.3 will be 563 by 10. This will be 1000 over 1. 1 0 gets cancelled. So 563 into 100 over 1 into 1. This will be 56300 over 1, which is 56300. Now if you look at the answers are the same which we obtained using the methods that I discussed with you. Either you could use those methods or you can use this method which I explained for type 1 and type